One would think that with him running and her walking that he'd have caught up to her around this part of the house, unless she's randomly like teleporting slightly further ahead all the time for goofs or something. Very obligatory CGI related sin for no reason.
遠坂にも聞いてみないと。なんだ?
Also though, like the slowest ever reaction to getting snowballed, like ever in the history of the world. Also, how are you not going to notice her standing and doing it right next to you?
エミヤキリツグって名前に覚えはないか? イリア?
知らない。そんな名前。知らない。
Yeah, clearly.
あれ? これって。
何してるの?
Playing badminton doubles.
Shinji!
Knives that make a sound when you hold it up against someone's neck.
Sakura.
Hold the phone? Does that mean that they're saying that he was able to twist himself about in the air and then redirect himself purely towards Levi-chan and knock into him? I call
bullshit.
His cardio prior to the punch was completely fine. He wasn't even breathing heavy in the slightest, but after this single punch he's practically gasping for air. I think it's that time of the video to briefly mention just how fantastic the animation is in these movies. Always a huge fan of that. They look stunning from start to finish, and so as always, the biggest of props to the animators for that.
Sakura. Sakura は無事なのか?
落ち着いて。ライダーとここに連れてきたのよ。キレ、さくらの容体は?
I love how she tells him to calm down and then randomly says they brought her there. Kind of figured that would be the case anyway. And then she asks the same question.
私はシローの味方だよ。好きな子のことを守るのは当たり前のことでしょ。
Ew.
私はそれだけで自分がわからなくなって先輩を傷つけたんです。
傷ついてない。あんなの。俺は平気だ。
He wasn't standing all that far away from her at the start, and yet he's been walking for 6.5 miles and still hasn't reached her.
私少女じゃないんですよ。
This is really weird. No sin here, but yeah.
大丈夫か?
Did it suddenly get cold enough in that room for us to see her breath? Or is she that horny? Other than to show us the viewer a bit of a sight, I don't really understand why he'd do this in front of her randomly. As opposed to just attacking straight away, because why do that when you can deliver a sassy final line and get interrupted? Okay, simply put, that was badass enough to actually equal an extremely rare second sin removal, which I haven't done in forever, but that was just awesome. Why would you suddenly stop attacking him right then, though?
霊体に戻っていいわよ。急いでここから。
父さん。
He did tell them to flee, and yet they randomly decided to track him back down after the completion of his battle versus Assassin, and then stand around there a little while for a catch-up.
案外布を取れば元通りだったりしてな。
He decided to go poking around on the brand new, never before done surgery type thing without mentioning anything to anyone about it. He also decided to go ahead and do that while in the bath, you know, to potentially get his bandages wet and dirty and stuff for no reason. Also, he randomly thought it would have healed fully by now for some reason after less than a few hours, and that was after literally just saying ow after getting in the bath.
カラカラの手足は紙風船みたいにコロコロ地面を転がっていく。ふわふわ飛ぶのは
Oh, I'm so very confused.
キラキラ綺麗。
せめてもの慈悲と知れ。
Oh, that's fair enough. God damn, man.
Sakura!
Isn't it a little weird that they never explain how she came to be out there in the streets like that after having that super weird dream? She goes from cuddling him to having the dream to being out there and coming back home, and none of them seem confused as to where she was or something.
やっぱり大事な人がいてもいいんだよ。
Exhale and then inhale cliche. My god, that knife is the most noisy blade I've ever heard. It's like rattling like a saber and a scabbard or something. Whilst I must admit that I do find the series to be better, that being Fate Zero and Unlimited Blade Works, I really did enjoy the second movie so much more than the first, and I think the reason for that is definitely because I now have a much greater understanding of how things work in this universe versus when I watched that movie years ago. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, it's just a bit of fun, and hopefully sometime in the near future I'll finish up the trilogy. See you in the next one. Nathan Burr, Bird Without a Word, Tyler Warner, PK Fan, Ali 50, Ryan Anderson, Isael Caldera, Mr. Waffle 64, Kieran Robinson, Chris Harris, Jonas Stahl, Manolo Saucedo Munoz, Kim Munt, Jason Davies, The Element Taylor Wars, Manuel Morales, Carnito, Dark Lord Bloody Soul, Blitzcloud, Sebastian Ramirez, Orokeeper, Jaffa 6263, Magnus, Kevin Nelter, Aniki Kerr, Brendan Krier, Kaj Vorzelman, Jordan Samuels, Sean Graves, The Epic Commander, Crimson Shadows, Kyle Farmer, Adora Blue, Matthew Ditzworth, Sentimento, Gaten 2000, Maki Sam, Storm 970, Hinakami Underwater.